Hello, I am potting on my giant onions for Pete Trenouth Giant Onion Growing Challenge 25-26, and as Pete did, because I don't know what I'm doing, just copy what Pete is doing, I have put my onions in to soak to have a look at the roots, those lovelies. And I'm glad I did, because there were two that didn't have very much in the way of roots at all, and some are better than others, so I will be able to pick out the best ones. I'm using Jack's Magic because that's what I have. I'm potting them up into, I think they're 350ml pots. I started them off, I think, in two smaller containers, cells, because they didn't have nearly as much root or growth on them as Pete's did. Nothing to do with the fact I don't have a clue what I'm doing. The only difference is I put a little bit of seaweed fertilizer in the bowl with the onion roots, because I figured they've been in seedling compost, they could do with a bit of a feed, so they're soaking in there, and I will water them with that. And so I'm potting them into here. I have had a few fungus gnats about. I have put in the sticky papers. I put the sticky papers in when I first potted them on, and I'm glad I did, because I've caught about half a dozen little blighters. So I'm hoping that that means that they won't have laid eggs. They'll have been snaffled before they have, and it will reduce the amount. The other thing I did is clear out everything in the grow tent apart from the onions, but obviously eventually other things will have to go back in there. So let's get on with this. Hello, this is my second attempt at filming. The first one, absolutely hilarious. I did a beautiful job and forgot to add vermiculite to the compost. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to get on. I'm not sure how much they will like the fact that they were potted on and then unpotted. So I could do again with vermiculite. And I nearly left them, but I thought, actually, for the roots to breathe and the drainage, I really ought to put vermiculite in there. Roots on these. So some of the soil compost has clung nicely to the roots. And not really an onion thing, or just a plants in general thing. When the compost is clinging to the roots like that, it indicates that the plant is putting out good exudates, which the microbiome in the compost is feeding on, and the microbiome is then breaking down the nutrients in the compost and making them plant available. And so there's this bit of symbiosis going on there. So that indicates that these guys and the compost that I've used is pretty good and healthy, so I'm happy with that. Yes, but as I say, not necessarily a giant onion thing, just a plants in general thing. There we are. Take two, done. Okay, hopefully they will recover and won't suffer for the fact they've been potted on twice. This one might not. It looks like it's really been damaged, but we'll see how it gets on. So I'm down to 6 or 7 now from the 12. Okay, next.